Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's begin chanting Japa, one round with Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasate Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, let's recite Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, text 26. Does anyone need to go first? So we'll just go in order then. Achyut Priya Mataji. Achintadev Prabhu.
My dad can't do it right now because he's driving.
Oh, okay. Arunita.
Oh.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances and homage to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhaktya uparitam asnani prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Satram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati Tadaham bhaktya bharatam asnam prayatmanaha. Translation. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Inba, Inia. Oh, Achyut Priya Mataji is ready. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tathaham bhaktya uparitam asnami prayatat manaha. Translation by Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Inba, Inia, Jai Shri Mataji, Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hey Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upasitam ashrami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Very good. Inia.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Yes, thank you. Prabhuji Mataji are there?
No Mataji.
Okay. Lokesh.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upakritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Thank you, Mataji. Lokesh will recite in just after.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
All praise to the assembled devotees. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachate tadaham bhaktupahritam asnami prayatatmana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Yes.
Prajna may not be able to read today.
Okay, Mataji. So, did anyone not recite? Lokesh, can you recite now? Everyone is done. I'll recite.
You can recite, Mataji. I'll call you.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita 9:26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. So let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20. Actually, we started a new chapter, Chapter 21. So Bali Maharaj already surrendered the universe. Then Vaman Dev arrests Bali Maharaj. That is the next chapter we are reading. Yes? Chapter 21. We have to begin with text 1. We did the introduction already. I mean, the summary, we did it already. We'll start with the verse. Bali Maharaj arrested by the Lord. Text 1. Whose turn is it today? Didn't send it yesterday. Maybe I did. Oh, I didn't send. So day before yesterday, Lokesh and Usha Mataji read. So we'll just start with Saujanya Mataji. Sri Shuka Uvacha Satyam Samikshabjabhavo Nakendubhir हतस्वधामद्युतिरावृतो भ्यगात् मरीचिमिश्रा ऋषयो बृहद्व्रताः सनन्दनाद्या नरदेवयोगिनः. सौजन्यमाता.
Sukadev Goswami continued. When Lord Brahma, who was born of a lotus flower, saw that the effulgence of his residence, Brahmaloka, had been reduced by the glaring effulgence from the toenails of Lord Vaman Deva, he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the great sages, headed by Marichi, and by yogis like Sanandana. But in the presence of that glaring effulgence, O king, even Lord Brahma and his associates seemed insignificant. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sukadeva Goswami continued. When Lord Brahma, who was born of a lotus flower, saw that the effulgence of his residence Brahmaloka, when Lord Brahma, who was born of a lotus flower, saw that the effulgence of his residence Brahmaloka had been reduced by the glaring effulgence from the toenails of Lord Vamandev. Had been reduced by the glaring effulgence from the toenails of Lord Vamandev, he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the great sages headed by Marichi and by yogis like Sanandana. Sanandana means the four Kumaras, Sanat, Sanatan, Sanandan, Sanat Kumar. But in the presence of that glaring effulgence, O king, even Lord Brahma and his associates seemed insignificant. So you remember what happened? Vamandev expanded himself into a Virata form, the size of the universe, and then he took his 3 steps. He started to take his 3 steps. So first step, he covered the entire surface of the globe. And then with the second step, he covered all the higher planets, Sarga and all the other planets, all the way up to Brahmaloka. And then with his toenails, he even pierced the covering of the universe. So when his foot was in Brahmaloka, when his toes, the effulgence from his toes diminished the effulgence of even Brahmaloka. So when Lord Brahma saw this, he offered obeisances. He came down actually. He came down with all the great sages. He came down to offer obeisances to Vamandev. And even the effulgence of Brahmaji and all the sages was diminished by the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Next. Text 2 and 3. So Prajna is not there, right, Mataji? वेदोपवेदा नियमायमान्वितास् तर्केतिहासाङ्गपुराणसंहिताः ये चापरे योगसमीरदीपिता ज्ञानाग्निनारन्धितकर्मकल्मषाः भवन्दिरे यत्स्मरणानुभावतः स्वायम्भुवं धाम गता अकर्मकम् अथाङ्ग्रये प्रोन्नमिताय विष्णोर् उपाहरत्पद्मभवोर्हर्णोदकम् समर्च्य भक्त्याभ्यगृणात् शुचिश्रवा यन्नाभिपङ्केरुहसम्भवः स्वयम्. Okay. So is Suhrid Spurti here? So we'll begin with Aditi Lata Mataji, Arunita, since Prabhuji is not able to read.
Yes, Mataji.
Actually, sorry, Achit Priya Mataji is here. I forgot. Sorry. Achit Priya Mataji, go ahead. And then next Mataji ji can read. Mataji and Arunita will lead next. Achit Priya Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes, Mataji. I was just wearing this mix. Among the great personalities who came to worship the lotus feet, among the great personalities who came to worship the lotus feet of the Lord were those who had attained perfection in self-control and regulative principles, as well as experts in logic, history, general education, and the Vedic literatures known as Kalpi, dealing with old historical incidents. Others were experts in the Vedic corollaries like Brahma Samhita, all the other knowledge of the Vedas, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva, and also the supplementary Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, etc. Others were those who had been freed of the reactions to fruitive activities by transcendental knowledge awakened by practice of yoga. And still others were those who had attained residence in Brahmaloka not by ordinary karma but by advanced Vedic knowledge. After devotedly worshipping the upraised lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with oblations of water, Lord Brahma, who was born of the lotus emanating from Lord Vishnu's navel, offered prayers to the Lord. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
So we are looking at who are all these personalities that came with Lord Brahmaji to offer obeisances to Vamandev. Who were they? Among the great personalities who came to worship the lotus feet of the Lord were those who had attained perfection in self-control and regulative principles. So regulative principles means by doing their karma, right? So they attained perfection in self-control and regulative principles, as well as, so that means they are karmis, right? Who did karma, and by doing that karma properly, it is said that one who follows varnashram dharma perfectly for 100 lifetimes. That means perfectly, without any mistake, right? No discrepancies. One who follows like this for 100 lifetimes, then he accumulates enough piety to become Brahmaji. 100 lifetimes. So like that. So someone who has done his dharma very nicely, right? Regulative principles means dharma. So who had attained perfection in self-control and regulative principles. So they go there. So that's one group of people, as well as experts in logic, history, general education, and the Vedic literature known as Kalpe. So Vedic literature called Kalpe means that part, itihasas, right, which deals with old historical incidents. So all these people, self-control, who has attained self-control and who has attained perfection in regulative principles, and also they were experts in logic, history, general education, and Vedic literature called Kalpe. That means in Ithihasas. So they go to Brahmaji. Apparently, it appears like that, isn't it? So they all came with Brahmaji. Others were experts in the Vedic corollaries like Brahma Samhita. Vedic corollaries means they are sub branches of the Vedas, like Brahma Samhita. All the other knowledge of the Vedas. What are the four Vedas? Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. And also the supplementary Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda. These are called Upavedas. Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, like that. There are actually four Upavedas. So whoever is expert in all this Vedic knowledge, all these different types of education. Then also others were those who had been freed of the reactions to fruitive activities by transcendental knowledge awakened by practice of yoga. So we see there are those who perfected their lives by doing karma. Perfected their lives means they achieved perfection in karma, like that. Or who achieved perfection in studying the Vedic literatures. And now the third category is those who have achieved perfection in yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So others were those who had been freed of the reactions to fruitive activities by transcendental knowledge awakened by practice of yoga. And still others were those who had attained residence in Brahmaloka So these were three categories of people. And then the third category is those who got residence in Brahmaloka not by ordinary karma but by advanced Vedic knowledge. After devotedly worshipping the upraised lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with oblations of water, Lord Brahma, who was born of the lotus emanating from Lord Vishnu's navel, offered prayers to the Lord. Like this, Lord Brahma is accompanied by all these perfected beings. So they all went with Brahmaji. And then what did they do? They worshipped the upraised. So they worshipped the lotus foot of Vamandev, which was up there, right, in Satyaloka and beyond. And they started offering oblations to the lotus foot of Vamandev. And then they started offering prayers. Okay, now Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita. धातुः कमण्डलु जलं तद् उरुक्रमस्य नहीं सॉरी धातुः कमण्डलु जलं तदुरुक्रमस्य धातुः कमण्डलु जलं तदुरुक्रमस्य पादावने जनपवित्रतया नरेन्द्र स्वर्धुन्यभून्नभसि सा पतति निमर्ष्टि लोकत्रयं भगवतो विशदेव कीर्तिः. Translation. Arunita. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, the water from Lord Brahma's Kamandalu washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev, who is known as Urukrama, the wonderful actor. Thus, that water became so pure that it was transformed into the water of the Ganges, which went flowing down from the sky, purifying the three worlds like the pure fame of the Supreme Personality of God.
Mataji, you can read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. Here we understand that the Ganges began when the water from Lord Brahma's Kamandulu washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev. But in the fifth canto, it is stated that the Ganges began when Vamandev's left foot pierced the covering of the universe, so that the transcendental water of the causal ocean leaked through. And elsewhere, it is also stated that Lord Narayan appeared as the water of the Ganges. The water of the Ganges, therefore, is a combination of three transcendental waters, and thus the Ganges is able to purify the three worlds. This is the description given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Thank you.
Yes. So all questions answered. Any, like, oh, how this and that is possible? Everything is possible in Krishna consciousness. For Krishna, everything is possible. O king, the water from Lord Brahma's Kamandalu. Lord Brahma is carrying his water pot. So the water from his water pot washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev, who is known as Urukrama. Urukrama means one whose activities are so wonderful, or the wonderful actor. Thus, that water became so pure. Why did it become so pure? First of all, it's Lord Brahma's water from his water pot. Lord Brahma is the, the person with the highest piety, the most exalted person, like most advanced person from material calculation, the most advanced person in this universe. Thus, the water from his water pot became so, and then when that water was poured, was performed, washed the lotus feet of Vamandev, lotus foot of Vamandev, that water became so pure that it was transformed into the water of the Ganges. So that water from the water pot of Brahmaji, which was poured onto Vamandev, the water that's trickling down, that is river Ganges. That got transformed into the water of the Ganges, which went flowing down from the sky, purifying the three worlds like the pure flame of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is one explanation. So you saw in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, we read in the 5th canto, there's a chapter about the descent of the Ganges. There it is said when Vamandev pierced, the water from Karana ocean trickled down, and then that is Ganges. And also in some other place it is said that Lord Narayan himself appeared as Ganges. So what is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying? Ganges is a combination of all these three. The river Ganges is a combination of all these three. That is why she is so pure. and she's able to purify the 3 worlds. Next. Inba Inya. Brahmadayo Lokanathaha Swanathaya Samadritaha Sanuga Balim Ajahruhu Sankshiptatma Vibhutaye.
Lord Brahma and all the predominating deities of the various planetary systems began to worship Lord Vamandev, their supreme master, who had reduced himself from his all-pervading form to his original form. They collected all the ingredients and paraphernalia for this worship.
Very nice. Okay, next Inya, you also read purport.
Vamanadev first expanded himself to the human form and then reduced himself to the original Vamana Rupa. Thus, he acted exactly like Lord Krishna, who at the request of Arjuna first showed his universal form and later assumed his original form of Krishna. The Lord can assume any form he likes, but his original form is that of Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. According to the capacity of the devotee, the Lord assumes various forms so that the devotee can handle him. This is his causeless mercy. When Lord Vamandev resumed his original form, Lord Brahma and his associates collected various paraphernalia for worship with which to please him.
Yes, so very clear, right? So Vamandev is now so huge, so big, and he covered with his 2 steps, he covered everything, right? All the surface and all the higher planets, everything is covered. And then he once again resumed his original form, right? Like Vamandev, like the dwarf Brahmana form. He came down to his original size. Then Brahmaji, with all his associates and also all the other predominating deities or the presiding deities of all the planets, they also came and they brought paraphernalia to worship Vamandev, and they started worshipping him, performing arti, right? So Srila Prabhupada is comparing with Krishna showing the Virata Rupa to Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And that is in the 11th chapter, you will read that. And then after the whole thing, all the different emotions that Arjun went through while seeing that form. And finally, once again, first he showed the 4-handed Narayan form, not Narayan form, the 4-handed Vasudev form. And then again, he came back to his 2-handed Krishna form, which was most dear to Arjun. So like that, here also, Vamandev first he showed the Virat form, and again he came back to his normal size. And then everyone came, Lord Brahma and all the other demigods, they started offering Arti to the Lord. So important point here is, it's not that because the Virat form is so big, sometimes people think like that, right? Virat form is a, because it is big and it is so, it has so many things you can see in the Virat form. So therefore that is superior to Krishna's form, Krishna's form looks like a human being with 2 hands. So that is great. Actually, it is not like that. It's not like that. Krishna's 2-handed form is the supermost. Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. But still, according to the capacity of the devotee, he reveals a particular form, or even according to the mood of that devotee. Right? Like you see in Hanuman's case also, Hanumanji. If you ask what is his original size, he adjusts according to the situation, according to the task that is ahead of him. He can become as small as a thumb, or even smaller, or he can become as the size of a cat, like how he went into Lanka, or he can become very big when he lifted the Gandhamadana mountain. And when he's dealing with Vanaras and with Lord Ramchandra, he just becomes the size, that is proportionate. Like that, Krishna also, according to the devotee's mood and the devotee's capacity, Krishna adjusts, right? He can come in any particular size or any particular form also, like that. But what is the original form from which all other forms are coming? Krishna's 2-handed form is the original form. Okay. So now Vamandev has come back to his normal size. तोयैः समर्हणैः स्रग्भिर् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनैः धूपैर्दीपैः सुरभिभिर्लाजाक्षताफलाङ्कुरैः स्तवनैर्जयशब्दैश्च तद्वीर्यामहिमाङ्कितैः नृत्यवादित्रगीतैश्च शङ्खदुन्दुभिनिस्वनैः. Okay, so Prabhuji Mataji are not there, right, in here? So next is Rasapriya.
They worship the Lord by offering fragrant flowers, water, bhajya, and arghya, sandalwood, milk, and agar, milk, incense, lamps, fused rice, unbroken grains, fruits, roots, and sprouts. While doing so, they offered prayers, indicating the glorious activities of the Lord, and said recite. They also danced, played instruments, sang, sounded consoles, and beat kettle drums. And this were worshipping the Lord.
Yeah. So they worship the Lord by offering fragrant flowers. So what are all the items that they brought to worship the Supreme Lord? So they brought, so we also get an idea what items can be offered to the Lord. Fragrant flowers, water. So just now we are memorizing Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Those four can be offered. So Pushpam, fragrant flowers, water, Toyam. So water is offered for Padya and Arghya. Padya means to wash the lotus feet. Arghya is general cleanliness, washing hands, so on and so forth. So Padya, Arghya, sandalwood, pulp, and aguru. So this is for fragrance, and also sandalwood pulp is for both for fragrance as well as for cooling. So sandalwood pulp and aguru pulp is offered. Incense, lamps. So this is arti. You offer incense, lamps. Fused rice. Fused rice is just like puffed rice, but slightly different, right? It's like wavy. So generally, when there is worship that is offered in religious activities, that fused rice is offered. So fused rice, unbroken grains. This is very auspicious, right? Unbroken grains, fruits, phalam, roots and sprouts. So these are all auspicious items that can be offered. So they brought all this and they were offering. While so doing, they offered prayers indicating the glorious activities of the Lord and shouted Jai Jai. This is another thing. Whenever we are making an offering, there is some recitation of Vedic mantras. What are those mantras? Glorifying the wonderful activities of the Supreme Lord. Like you can be chanting the Purusha Sukta mantras, you can be doing the Hare Krishna Kirtan, like that. Turn it off. They also danced, played instruments, sang, sounded conch shells, and beat kettle drums, in this way worshipping the Lord. So like those offerings going on to the Lord, accompanied by music and instruments and conch shells, kettle drums, and the Lord was worshipped by Brahmaji and all the demigods. Next. Okay, next. So Rasa Madhava, you read? जाम्बवान् ऋक्षराजस्तु भेरी शब्दैर्मनोजवः विजयं दिक्षु सर्वासु महोत्सवम् अघोषयत्.
Jambavan, king of the bears, also joined in the ceremony. Sounding his bugle in all directions, he declared a great festival for Lord Vamandeva's victory.
Who else came? Jambavan was there. Jambavan from Ramayan, and Jambavan is there in Krishna Leela also. Was Jambavati's father, Krishna's consort, Jambavati's father. So Jambavan, king of the bears, also joined in the ceremony. Sounding his bugle in all directions, he declared a great festival for Lord Vamandev's victory. So you find Jambavan also in Vamandev's pastime. Mahim sarvam hritam drishtva tripada vyaja yachnaya ऊचुः स्वभर्तुर् असुरा दीक्षितस्यात्यमर्षिताः. No? Yeah, it's done. You'll read.
When the demoniac followers of Maharaj Bali saw that their master, who had been determined in performing sacrifice, had lost all his possessions to Vamandev, who had taken them away on the plea of begging three pieces of land, they were very angry and spoke as follows.
Yeah. You can pull off the. So while this was going on, everyone is worshipping Vamandev for what? For taking everything away from Bali Maharaj. Of course, they were not worshipping Vamandev, they were worshipping Vamandev, seeing his wonderful activities, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But meanwhile, here Bali Maharaj's companions, all the Asuras, what were they doing in the first place? They were doing this yagya. You remember why Bali Maharaj was doing that yagya, all these sacrifices? Do you remember? Speak inside. And
To
speak.
overpower, like, to overpower Indra.
Overpower Indra. Okay?
Bali Maharaj was performing the sacrifices because his Guru Maharaj Shukracharya one was very pleased with him, so he made Bali Maharaj do the sacrifices to get
For what purpose? For what purpose?
to get possession of the three worlds.
Ah, correct. Same thing. To get the possession. That means Bali Maharaj had forcibly, right? He went and conquered on Swarga. But that's not how you get power on Swarga. That may be, but to secure that position, that he will actually have it, he has to actually have the pious credits for that. So, one who performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas, he is qualified to become the king of Indra. That's one thing. But so, therefore, Shukracharya was making him perform all these yagyas to earn those pious credits for Bali Maharaj so that he can actually be Indra, right? The king of heaven. Why he was doing that? Because he was very pleased with the service offered by Bali Maharaj before. So while that was going on, Vamandev had come and this whole pastime happened. So now all the companions of Bali Maharaj, they were expecting, they were already, they had already conquered Swarga. Now everything was being taken away by Vamandev, and everyone is coming and worshipping Vamandev, and they lost everything because of Bali Maharaj is giving in charity to Vamandev. He had only asked 3 steps of land, but now they lost everything. So they were very angry. That's what we read here. When the demoniac followers of Maharaj Bali saw that their master had been determined in performing sacrifice, their master, who had been determined in performing sacrifice, had lost all his possessions to Vamandev, who had taken them away on the plea of begging 3 paces of land. They were very angry and spoke as follows. So they saw this as cheating, right? He asked only for 3 steps of land and he's taking everything away, like that. They were talking amongst themselves. Navayam Brahma Bandhur Vishnur Maya Vinamvaraha Dvijarupa Pratichanno Deva Karyam Chikirshati. Translation. So Krishna Shish read, right? So who's next? Lokesh.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This Vamana is not a Brahmana, but the best of cheaters. Lord Vishnu, assuming the form of the Brahmana, has covered his own form, and thus he is working for the interest of the demigods.
Yes, this is not a Brahmana. He has come to cheat us. This is just a disguise, right? This is not a Brahmana, because Brahmana, he will just take, what is the quality of the Brahmana? He will only take minimum, whatever he needs, and the rest he will give away. So why will he even accumulate? He won't even collect more than what he needs. So he came like a Brahmana and he asked for 3 steps of land, and now he's cheating. He's taking everything. Besides, who are these people? They're all asuras, right? Asuras consider Lord Vishnu to be their enemy. So this is not a Brahmana. This is the best of the cheaters, Lord Vishnu. He assumed the form of a Brahmana. That means he came in disguise and he hid his own form as Lord Vishnu. And in this way, he's working for the interest of the demigods, our enemies. So this is the enemy who has come to us, like that. Anena yachamanena shatruna vaturupina sarvasvam na hritam bhartur nyasta dandasya barhishi. Usha Mataji, actually Mataji Prabhuji are there, Lokesh?
I can read again.
Yes, Mataji.
Our Lord Bali Maharaj, because of his position in performing the yajna, has given up the power to punish. Taking advantage of this, our eternal enemy Vishnu, dressed in the form of a brahmachari beggar, has taken away all his possessions.
Our Lord Bali Maharaj, because of his position in performing the yajna, has given up the power to punish. Like yesterday we were discussing in Chaitanya Charitamrita class, Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni could have punished Marichi and Subahu himself, but why he didn't punish? Because he was there sitting in the yajna, performing yajna. While you're performing yajna, you cannot get angry and you cannot, fight and all that. You have to maintain that position. So Bali Maharaj was performing yajna. Therefore, because of that position only, even though he got cheated, he didn't fight. Otherwise, he could have punished. Right? He's not able to punish this Vaman Dev because he's in the position of performing the yajna. That's why he has given up the power to punish. And taking advantage of this, our enemy Lord Vishnu, dressed in the form of a brahmachari beggar, has taken away all his possessions. Like that. So he has cheated us, basically. They're saying this, Lord Vishnu has cheated. Satyavratasya satatam dikshitasya visheshatah nanritam bhashitam shakyam brahmanyasya dayavatah. Prabhuji is there, Mataji? Surananda Madhav Prabhu is there?
No, Mataji.
Okay. Usha Mataji and Medha? Medha?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandas pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
From today, Medha, I told her to use it even on her school bus, Mataji, but she said she cannot talk, so I will talk.
Yes.
I will do the translation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Our Lord Bali Maharaj is always fixed in truthfulness. And this is especially so at present, since he has been initiated into performing a sacrifice. He is always kind and merciful toward the Brahmanas, and he cannot at any time speak lies.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So, see, they were all, Bali Maharaj, our king, he's so nice. He's fixed in truthfulness. Yes. Because he said once that I'm going to give. So, therefore, he didn't go back. See how great our king is. He's always fixed in truthfulness. And this is especially so at present since he has been initiated into performing a sacrifice. Normally, also, he is fixed in truthfulness. But now, when you're doing, you have that, right? Like certain situations, like you cannot do that. Like even those who are karmis, they also have certain rules, right? Let's say, even if they're eating meat or something, but on Ekadasi, on this day, we don't eat, for example, like that. Or, telling lies, right? You shouldn't tell lies in front of the deity. Actually, you should not tell lies at all. But certainly, you should never tell lies when standing in front of the deity, like that. So, Bali Maharaj normally also is truthful, but now, especially now that he's doing this sacrifice, he cannot, he cannot give up that truthfulness under any circumstances. Yeah, since he has been initiated into performing a sacrifice, he is always kind and merciful toward the Brahmanas, and he cannot at any time speak lies. This is his nature. He's very kind to the Brahmanas. He is very favorably disposed to the Brahmanas, and he's always truthful. And the enemy has taken advantage of Bali Maharaj's good qualities. Tasmad asya vadho dharmo bhartuhu shushruषणं चनः इत्यायुधानि जगृहुर् बलेर अनुचरासुराः. Saujanya Mataji and Pragya, she's there. Actually, I think we started with Saujanya Mataji, so let's give chance to others who have not read.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Mataji, can I read?
sorry, yes, Mataji, please forgive me. Priyanka Mataji.
No, Mataji, it's okay. Thank you, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay. Therefore, it is our duty to kill this Vamandev, Lord Vishnu. It is our religious principle and the way to serve our master. After making this decision, the demoniac followers of Maharaj Bali took up their various weapons with a view to killing Vamandev.
Yeah. So they were thinking, we are faithful, we are loyal to our master. Our master is so nice. He's so, good. He's so truthful, so kind and so favorably disposed to the Brahmanas. But this Vishnu taking undue advantage of this good quality of our master, has disguised himself in the form of a Brahmana to come and cheat him. We are not going to tolerate this. We are going to show our loyalty to our master. Besides, it's not that our master is not powerful. He's very powerful. He can punish the enemy, right? Just now when he went and declared war against heavens, they all ran away, didn't even come to fight. He's so powerful. It's not that he's not capable. But now that he's doing sacrifice, he's not punishing the miscreant. But we can do that, and we should show our loyalty to our master. We should show, in this way, we should serve our master. Let's punish this Vamandev. And they, raise their weapons with a view to killing Vamandev. ते सर्वे वामनं हन्तुं शूलपट्टिशपाणयः अनिच्छन्तो बले राजन् प्राद्रवन् जातमन्यवः. Yes, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, I can read.
Oh yes, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. O King, the demons, aggravated by their usual anger, took their lances and tridents in hand, and against the will of Bali Maharaj, they pushed forward to kill Lord Vamandev. Thank you, Mataji.
So you can also picture here, against the will of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj didn't want them to fight. What is Bali Maharaj's mood? He's not just giving it as charity to a Brahmana. Bali Maharaj is seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is supposed to be offered to the Supreme Lord. With great joy, he's offering everything to the Supreme Lord. Even though the Lord has come as an enemy to take away everything, Bali Maharaj, right? Atma Nivedanam, surrendering everything to the Lord. He perfected Atma Nivedanam. But the demons didn't understand this. So they were attacking with raised weapons. What type of weapons? Lances, tridents, and demons. They're demons. So demons are usually in the mode of ignorance, passion, and ignorance. So they were in their usual anger. Normally, also they are angry. So in their usual anger, now even more angry because of what Vamandev did. So aggravated by their usual anger, took their weapons and they pushed forward. So we can also picture Bali Maharaj trying to stop them. Don't do it, but they just pushed forward to kill Lord Vamandev. Tan abhidravato drishtva diti janikapan nripa prahasyanuchara vishnoh pratyashedhan udayudhaha. So next, Suhrit Spurti, Mataji Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
O King, when the associates of Lord Vishnu saw the soldiers of the demons coming forward in violence, they smiled. Taking up their weapons, they forbade the demons to continue their attempt.
So when the demons ran to attack Vamandev, the associates of Lord Vishnu, remember who all came? Nanda, Sunanda, and the other Vishnu Dutas, associates of Lord Vishnu, Vaikuntavasis, had come along with all the presiding deities of different planets in this universe. They had all come. So when the Vishnu Dutas, associates of Lord Vishnu, saw the demons running towards Vamandev to attack him, they stopped the demons. They came forward, right? And they stopped. Taking up their weapons, they forbade the demons to continue their attempt. Like they're ready to respond. They said, stop, you cannot fight like that. They also took up their weapons. They forbade the demons to continue their attempt. Nandaha sunando thajayo vijayaha prabalo balaha kumudaha kumudakshascha vishvaksenaha patatrirat jayantaha shrutadevascha pushpadantotha satvataha sarve nagayuta pranash chamum te jagnurasurim. Yes, next. So, yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation: Nanda Sunanda Jaya Vijaya Prabala Bala Kumuda Kumudaksha Vishwaksena Patat Rirat Garuda Jayanta Shrutadeva Pushpadanta and Satvata were all associates of Lord Vishnu. They were as powerful as 10,000 elephants, and now they began killing the soldiers of the demon. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Nanda Sunanda Jaya Vijay Prabala Bala Kumuda Kumudaksha Vishwaksena Patatrirat. This is Garuda in Garuji. His Patatrirat, the Vishnu Duta. Jayanta, Shrutadeva, Pushpadanta, and Satvata were all associates of Lord Vishnu. They were as powerful as 10,000 elephants. And now they began killing the soldiers of the demons. So they stopped the demons, and the demons didn't stop, apparently. So they started fighting. So the Vishnu Duta started killing all the soldiers of the demons. Hanyamanan swakan drishtva purushanucharair varayamasa samrabdhan kavya shapam anusmaran. Surya and Spurti are there?
Mataji, they are not here, Mataji.
They are not there. Okay. So we can start again. Saujanya Mataji. Pragya, not there. So we'll just begin from the beginning then. Achyut Priya Mataji.
Yes. When Bali Maharaj saw that his own soldiers were being killed by the associates of Lord Vishnu, he remembered the curse of Shukracharya and forbade his soldiers to continue fighting. Thank you.
Yeah. So Krishna says, Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So he is the cause of knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance. Especially so for the devotee, right? Especially for the devotee. Bali Maharaj surrendered everything to the Lord. He is a Mahajan. So for them, what does Krishna say? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. So when this incident happened, another thing, the devotee sees the hand of Krishna in everything. Any incident that happens in his life, he doesn't hold that particular person or circumstance responsible for his situation. Rather, he sees the hand of Krishna. So, Bali Maharaj, when he saw that Vamandev took everything away from me, what did he remember? He remembered, oh, this is just the curse that Shukracharya gave me, right? So the curse is acting on me. He's not getting angry at Vamandev. He's just saying this is the curse that Shukracharya had given me, that I should become poverty stricken. So nobody can undo that. It's a curse. So I should just accept it. What is the point in fighting with Vamandev? So he stopped the soldiers, right? He remembered the curse of Shukracharya. He forbade his soldiers to continue fighting. First of all, he stopped them. It was against his will, but they were still fighting. But they were all getting killed by the Vishnudutas. So he said, stop, right? He forbade his soldiers from continuing the fight. हे विप्रचित्ते हे राहो हेने मे श्रूयतां वचः मा युध्यता निवर्तध्वं ननः कालोऽयम् अर्थकृत्. Who's next? Yes, Mataji.
O Viprachitti, O Rahu, O Nemi, please hear my words. Don't fight. Stop immediately, for the present time is not in our favor.
Yeah, stop this fight. He's calling them by their names. O Rahu, O Nemi, O Viprachitti, please hear me. Don't fight. You immediately stop this fight. You can imagine the fight is going on, it's like, stop, stop. Listen to me. Hear my words. Stop this fight immediately. This time is not favorable for us. So the present time is not in our favor. Just like when they attacked the heavens, that time was not in the favor of demigods. So they didn't fight. So this time is not in our favor. So there's no point in fighting. Stop the fight. Yah Prabhu sarvabhutanam sukha dukkhopapattaye tam nati vartitum daityah paurushairishwarah puman. Arunita or Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Raghuvi.
Hare Krishna.
O Daityas, by human efforts, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bring happiness and distress to all living beings. Hare Krishna.
Yes, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So you cannot go against the will of the Lord. Nobody has that power. If it is said, Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect you, who can harm you? And if Krishna wants to kill you, who can protect you? No one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the point in fighting now, right? So the Supreme Lord can bring both happiness and distress to all living entities. Yo no bhavaya prag asid abhavaya divaukasam sa eva bhagavan adya vartate tad viparyayam. Prabhuji is going to read.
A little later, Mataji.
Inya? Not ready?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. The Supreme Time Factor, which represents the Supreme Person, was previously in our favor and not in favor of the demigods. But now that same time factor is against us.
So before, like when they were attacking the heavens, the Supreme Time Factor, right? The Supreme Person, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, time I am. So time is also the energy of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Time Factor, which is representing the Supreme Person, was favoring us before, but now that time factor is favoring them. So what can we do? Yes. Prabhuji, you're able to read?
No, Mataji, I just wanted to share. Remember, this actually feels exactly the same words like when we had the pastime of Kurmadev, the chanting of the ocean. Lord Narayan, when he came, Vishnu, he came. He actually said that, told the demigods the same words like this.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, thank you. Correct. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Next. Balena सचिवैर्बुद्ध्या दुर्गैर्मन्त्रौषधादिभिः सामादिभिरुपायैश्च कालं नात्येति वै जनः. Inba or Inya, I forget who read just now.
Mataji, Inba read, I'll read.
Yeah.
No one can surpass the time representation of the Supreme Personality of God. about it. By material power, by the council of ministers, by intelligence, by diplomacy, by fortresses, by mystic mantras, by drugs, by herbs, or by any other means.
Yeah, no one can surpass the time representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, we cannot go against time. Even the most powerful, even someone may be as powerful as Hiranyakashipu who conquered the whole universe, still he had, when the time for him, when it's time for him to die, he has to surrender. So by any amount of material power, by the counsel of his ministers, by his intelligence, by diplomacy, right? By diplomacy, by tricks or tactics, by fortresses, by having a strong army or a powerful, like a very strong fort, by mystic mantras, by drugs, medicines, right, by herbs, or by any other means, one cannot surpass the time representation, right? When you're supposed to suffer, you have to suffer. When you have to die, you have to die. You cannot change that by your material effort. Okay. So Mataji, Prabhuji are there? Inia? No, right? We'll stop
Yes,
here.
Mataji.
Yeah. So we'll continue tomorrow. We'll read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18. Chapter 18, text 36. Please repeat. Sukham tidanim trividham Shrinu me bharatarshapha Abhyasad ramate yatra
Abhyasarmatetra
Dukhantam cha nigacchati.
kantam cha nigacchati.
O best of the Bharatas,
Bharatas,
now please hear from me
now please hear from me
about the three kinds of happiness
about the three kinds of
by
happiness
which the conditioned soul enjoys
by which the conditioned soul
and by
enjoys,
which he sometimes comes
by
to the
which he
end
comes
of all distress.
the end of all distress.
Yes. So we saw three types of determination before. Yes, determination in goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now we are going to see happiness in goodness, passion, and ignorance. What was determination in goodness? Determination in goodness means that goodness which is unbreakable, which is supported by yoga, and which is accompanied by controlling the mind, senses, so on and so forth. What is determination and passion? The determination that you have for fruitive results, for sense gratification. That is determination and passion. And what is determination and ignorance? In ignorance, your determination does not go beyond dreaming. You just think about doing so many things, but you're just lazy. Now we'll see happiness in the three modes. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Purport. A conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus he chews the chewed. In order to get, we are seeking happiness. So we just have, it's like, once, maybe I told you before, once His Holiness Hridayananda Maharaj was giving class several years ago, and he said, let's say, it is said that you can have only three types of vegetables. You have broccoli, you have carrots, and you have potatoes. Okay, broccoli, carrots, and potatoes. And then every day you get to eat only these three things, nothing else. So then you try to make that palatable, right? One day you make soup, another day you make fried sabji, and some day you make a salad, or you make more broccoli and less potatoes, or more carrots, and like that you can try everything you want. You may try it for 15 days, 1 month. But after eating only broccoli, potatoes, and carrots and nothing else, you'll get fed up, isn't it? You're like, enough, I don't want to look at broccoli, potatoes, and carrots. Like that, we have these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. From that, we are trying to get juice out of it, right? Trying to get happiness, trying to get enjoyment. We try different varieties, try this way, that way, and another way. But after all, you have only this much. That's the limited. It's not going to, with that only you try to switch it around like this and like that, and you try to get happiness out of it. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that a conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus, he chews the chewed. So, choose the chewed. A typical example would be like in America, you can relate to a chewing gum. You chew initially when you chew the chewing gum, you get some sweet, taste out of it, some flavor. And after you chew it, all the flavor is gone. And then you're chewing it and chewing it. Let's say like somebody takes that chewing gum and sticks it to his chair or something, and another child comes and sees that, and if that he puts that in his mouth and tries to chew and get some juice out of it, will he get any juice out of it? No. So trying to become happy in this material world by through material means is like picking up the bubble gum which is chewed by someone else, and then you're taking that and trying to get some juice out of it. That's how pathetic and bad it is trying to become happy in this world through material things. So it is compared to chewing the chewed. And in India, if you want to take the example, you have this ganna, sugar cane, right? So you chew on that. So or they give you sugarcane juice in India. They have those machines. So they run that thing through the machine several times. So many times they run it to remove whatever juice there is. After some time, everything is removed. There's no juice. If you try to get more juice by chewing on that, is anything going to come? But still you're trying because you're desperate. You want happiness. The thing is, we don't know where to look for happiness. So we just try to get happiness out of that, but you're not going to get anything. The juice is finished there. So a materialistic person is trying to get happiness by chewing the chewed. Thus he chews the chewed, but sometimes in the course of such enjoyment, he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with the great soul. So really the only way out for us is the mercy of some great devotee. That's all. Until and unless a great devotee gives his or her association and their mercy, we'll be stuck in this material world eternally. So, in other words, a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification. But when he understands by good association that it is only a repetition of the same thing and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so called happiness. So, that is why here in the translation it is said that sometimes he comes, sometimes by this he comes to the end of all distress. Means by the association of a devotee, he gives up this endeavor of, so he's trying to become happy in so many ways. He's trying, but yadrichika means we don't know what reasons, somehow or other, you get the association of a devotee. And because of that, he, maybe he gives you a Bhagavad Gita or gives you prasadam or tells you something, and then you gradually give up trying to become happy in this world and you become relieved from this business of chewing the chewed. So next we will read the three types of happiness in goodness, passion and ignorance. Now let's read Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita. Yes, continuation. Although he was known as an English preacher, Bhaktivedanta Swami knew there were always faults in his presentation in that foreign language, and there was no editor to correct them. He was alone. But such technical faults would not keep him from printing Srimad Bhagavatam. This idea was also presented in the opening chapters of the Bhagavatam. The literature which is full with description of transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, past, and this is a shloka of Bhagavatam said by Narad Muni to Vyasdev. The literature which is full with description of transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation of transcendental vocabulary, all meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization of the world, that is the present world. the misdirected civilization. So to bring about a revolution, such a literature, which literature? That literature which is filled with the transcendental name, fame, glories, pastimes of the Lord, that literature is capable to bring about a revolution in the consciousness of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, abadhavatyapi, it is said, right? Even there are so many faults. Faults means literary faults there may be, right? Irregularly composed. Still, it is heard, sung, and accepted by the purified men who are thoroughly honest. So, with that confidence, even though for Srila Prabhupada, this language was a foreign language, he continued to translate Srimad Bhagavatam. But we know when we read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, his language is actually, although it's very, very easily understandable to everyone, but at the same time, his vocabulary is so high, actually, right? When you first read the books, you'll think, wow, you may have to use a dictionary when you start reading. But now, after reading for years, it just we become familiar with all the words and everything. But anyway, in his humility, Srila Prabhupada is thinking that it's a foreign language and I don't have anyone to edit it, but I cannot stop this work because honest people will appreciate it and they will benefit from this. This is a statement from Srimad Bhagavatam, so I must continue translating. Bhaktivedanta Swami wrote in his purport, we know that in our honest attempt for presenting this great literature, conveying transcendental message, for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general, as a matter of re-spiritualization of the world atmosphere, is fraught with many difficulties. It's filled with many difficulties. What is filled with many difficulties? This attempt, right, to re-spiritualize the whole world, the world's atmosphere, it is filled with so many difficulties. Our capacity of presenting the matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail. And there may be so many literary discrepancies in spite of our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. So, intention is very good. The endeavor is also there, right? So, honest attempt is being made, but still there may be many flaws, right? Weakness, many faults. But we are sure that with our all faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of the society will still accept this on account of its being an honest attempt for glorifying the Almighty Great. So much now badly needed. So this Srila Prabhupada's mood is so significant. It's very important for us also, right? We recognize, we know that we are insignificant, but at the same time, we shouldn't stop the endeavor. We shouldn't stop the endeavor because whatever little that we are trying to do, what is the important factor here? Your honest attempt is important. Your sincere endeavor is important. Whether you're successful or not, that is in the Lord's hand. But we must make an honest, sincere endeavor for what? Endeavor to glorify the Supreme Lord. Endeavor to share this Krishna consciousness with others. And those who are sincere, those who are sadhus, right? Those who are honest themselves, they will appreciate the endeavor. Even though it is filled with so many faults, still they will appreciate it. And above all, it's very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. So this is Srila Prabhupada's mood. When there is a fire in the house, the inmates of the house go out for help from the neighbors who may be foreigners to such inmates. And yet, without any adequate language, the victims of the fire express themselves and the neighbors understand the need, even though not expressed in adequate language. The same spirit of cooperation is needed in the matter of broadcasting this transcendental message of the Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the whole polluted atmosphere of the present day world situation. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and as such, we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there is the success. We'll stop there. You can meditate on those points for the rest of the day. I will see you all in the evening, Chaitanya Charitamrita class. If not, tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful
Thank you,
day.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.